Hello folks, Dick Fairburn here. Today I want to talk about one of the growing threats in our major metropolitan areas that's starting to spread out to ever smaller communities outside of the metropolitan areas. That's carjacking. They're not just stealing cars that are parked in a lot somewhere now. The easier way to get them with the high-tech anti-theft devices is to get them when they're running or when they can get the keys or the fob away from you. So if you want to know more about carjacking and what you can do as a concealed carrier to be prepared for a carjacking, stick around. Bad guys have been stealing cars ever since there were cars. But in the last few decades, we've seen car theft move really into car theft by armed robbery. And the reason for that is that modern car manufacturers are making these things much more difficult to steal. In the movies, it's easy. They always grab under the dash, get some wires, twist a couple together, and the car starts. That's not how it works. Stealing a modern vehicle without the key or without the fob in hand has really become pretty difficult. It can be done, but they need some very high-tech equipment to do it regularly. So it's been easier for the bad guys to choose armed robbery and get the keys or the fob they need to take a vehicle. So they're going to physically take this thing away from you now in a carjacking. The numbers of carjackings have exploded over the last couple decades. It has primarily been theft in the major metropolitan areas, but we're seeing it spread out to smaller and smaller communities. In Illinois, like other states where no cash bail laws are in effect, prosecutors don't want to prosecute bad guys. They think that they've been wronged by society. You're going to see this become more and more prevalent. What kind of cars are they stealing? Each year, the favorite stolen vehicle kind of moves around from one brand or model to another. But in general, they're looking for newer, high-dollar vehicles. And especially if it's happening in a community near a coastline or the Great Lakes, a lot of the better vehicles that they carjack are going to be in a container and on a ship probably within 1 or 2 days. They're going to be headed across the ocean to rich people in some other country. So they're not wanting to get a Yugo. They're looking for Lincoln Navigators. They're looking for nice rides. So those are the more likely to be carjacked, especially in those coastal areas. So how can we defend ourselves as a concealed carry person against a carjacking? First of all, there are 2 ways to get the fob, the keys that they need. One is to take it away from you when you're outside of the vehicle, and the other is to attack you in the vehicle and take it while it's already running. For the exterior thing, they're going to have to get you when you exit your vehicle and you're going to a workplace or a mall or some other kind of shopping event, or they're going to get you coming back to it. And from my read of the statistics, it's not generally done when you park and leave the vehicle. It's more likely to occur when you're returning to your vehicle. And there's a couple ways they do this. All too often nowadays, our fobs will, unlock that vehicle remotely from a fair distance. So when you're parking a lot in one of these kind of venues, think about when you're going to be coming out. Is it going to be dark? Did I go in late afternoon? It could be after dark by the time I'm headed back to my vehicle. If so, then you want to try to park under a light standard. You want to park in a close, open, safer area if you can. Think through situational awareness and plug that into your plans. Then when you get to the door of the venue that you're leaving, you can use that remote, hit it because your lights are going to flash. Some cars will honk their horn when they're unlocked remotely like that. See if that draws anyone towards it. Someone on foot might then be headed for that vehicle because they know somebody is going to show up there shortly with the keys or with the fob that they need. So if you see those people move towards the car, hit the other button on the remote, lock it, go back inside the venue and get some help. Take that as a potential threat. If you have left the building, you have not considered things to be all that threatening, then I suggest you wait till the very last moment to do that remote unlock. Make sure you're very close enough that you can unlock, get in, lock, before someone a distance away can get to you on foot. So get your head right, think proactively, and it's possible that you can head off a potential carjacking in this way. The more dangerous kind of carjacking is when they're going to take it away from you on the street when you are behind the wheel and driving. And they have a couple of techniques for doing this. They often work in teams with a couple of vehicles. Those vehicles may shadow you for a few blocks, see where you're headed, and then watch for you to come to a red light. And then what they will attempt to do is to have one of their vehicles ahead of you and the second vehicle directly behind you when you stop at a red light. Then they will trap you in. They will push forward with the rear vehicle. They may even back up with the leading vehicle and give you no room to maneuver and get out. At that point, one of the bad guys in the cars is going to come to the window and they're going to demand the vehicle. So one way to try to avoid this is situational awareness. Keep an eye around you. And if you notice that you've got two cars that are with you even though you've made a turn or gone a distance, then your fear factor should be up some. You should be on a higher level of alert. Watch the Jeff Cooper color code video to learn about how to go from yellow to orange to red. And red is where we're going to fight if we have to. Try to leave some room between you and the vehicle ahead of you if you are at a stoplight. If you can leave a vehicle length or at least a half, then you might have the opportunity to crank a wheel and escape if suddenly people are approaching your vehicle and going to attempt to carjack you. But as I said, many of these, they will box you in, and some of them will even bump you. They will initiate a minimal damage bump into your vehicle to get you to stop. Whenever that happens, we're all programmed to stop and see what happened, and then they're going to use that to make the approach and get your vehicle. So how do you carry your weapons in a vehicle? Some ladies carry off body, some carry in purses. I'm not sure that's a great idea. If you do, then make sure your purse is over here. The way that you have to get into that purse to get the weapon is already on the appropriate side, so that you can get in there and get it very rapidly. This time of the year, nice weather, I am typically wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt, or perhaps shorts and a t-shirt. I have a small pistol in my pocket. That is not a great location to draw from when you're in a vehicle. If I'm buckled in, something has happened, maybe I've had to jam on the brakes, I can't really get into that pocket to get it. I have to unbuckle. I have to bridge up to some degree to get that pistol out and come on target. So this is not a great place to carry. We can adapt that. A number of years ago, there was a very high-profile FBI shootout with some bank robbers in Miami. Pocket holster. Always draw the holster out, reholster like that, and then you're ready to go. In that Miami shootout, a couple of the agents had been taught, somewhere along in their career, that if you're in a vehicle, you think you're going to need your pistol in a hurry, to go ahead and draw it out and just lay it on the seat next to you so you can grab it unencumbered. Well, that didn't work very well for him, and it's very bad advice. Over the course of a short pursuit with these two bank robbers, the FBI agents had to jam on the brakes, stop very suddenly. Both of their weapons went flying up under the dash. So in order to get into this gunfight, the first thing they had to do was get out of the vehicle, get down, find their pistols, and then come up into the fight. But taking it out of its holstered position and securing it for quick use is viable. Just don't lay it on the seat. You can trap it under your butt or your thigh right there. That's putting a pretty high degree of weight on that. Now, to do that, you must have it in some form of a holster. This pocket holster, this is a Kimber Micro 9, so it's a cockable mini version of a 1911. Weight on that trigger is not going to fire it unless the safety has been disconnected. With a Glock, SIG 365, or other striker fired guns, something gets into that trigger guard and pushes some weight to the rear, it's going to go off when you didn't mean for it to. So to protect that, you must have it in some kind of a holster. So I placed the pistol in the holster right there, and I bear some weight down on it. If I'm coming to a sudden stop, that's going to put even more weight on it. But I can very quickly, very easily have this thing out and in action and ready to go. So tucking it under your thigh is a viable option, and it doesn't really matter what size pistol it is. This is a micro pistol, works just as well with a full-size pistol. A lot of people like appendix carry, and I have been known to do that on occasion. The pocket holsters work real well in that way as well. So if you're on appendix carry, you're buckled in. Make sure the buckle is not going to hamper the draw of the pistol. Okay, we can even loosen the shirt up. I've even seen people go ahead and tuck the shirt behind. I don't think that's necessary, but it can't hurt anything. So now if I'm in that same situation and I need that pistol quickly, it's right there. And I'm ready to go. So appendix with a small pistol can be a very viable way to carry. Appendix carry can also be good with a full-size pistol. This shirt's a little thin for this. I would wear a better shirt to not print this weapon. But this shoulder strap can get in the way. So maybe we're going to tuck that kind of under the butt of the pistol. We don't have to worry about being very concealed in the car. But if I need a large pistol, appendix is a good way to get it out and get it into action. This is a Glock 48. It's the same physical size as a Glock 19, their most popular model. It has a 10-round magazine instead of 15 in 9mm. This happens to be mounted with a optical sight that I'm experimenting with for how old eyes can shoot pistols a little bit better. But that full-size pistol is viable. You need to be very careful whenever you reholster. Make sure there's nothing in the trigger area, fingers clear, and seat that pistol back in. So appendix carry is a really good way to have it available in a car, no matter the size of the pistol. In cooler weather, and especially if I'm going to a known dangerous area, I'm probably going to carry a bigger pistol for my concealed carry. And in the cooler weather, I'm probably going to carry a strong side belt mounted holster that I can cover up with a vest or a jacket. Now, I'm not going to have that garment on me while I'm in the vehicle. So the pistol is visible here. That's not a problem. These are very comfortable to carry in. They generally, you carry them in about the 4 o'clock position. They'll fold in behind your body. They're very secure. They're very comfortable for long term. Okay, something happens. I don't need to unbuckle. I just need to worry about a longer slide in relationship to the bang into the steering wheel. So I'm going to practice. Pistol comes up. I can deal left. I can deal straight. I can even come over to the passenger side windshield if I need to. So full-size pistol in a strong side carry is good. And this also is the most comfortable to reholster while you're still seated. I'll show you one last good place to carry a pistol for vehicular use. Okay, the last good carry position for being inside of a vehicle is to have it on your ankle. Right-handers are going to put it inside of their left. Left-handers are going to put it inside of their right so that you can get down there and get that. Generally, ankle carry is going to be something small. I've got the little Micro 9 38 snub nose 5 or 6 shot revolvers are great for ankle carry. Little 380s even. Personally, I consider 9mm the smallest I'm going to carry on a regular basis. 380s, especially if we're going to deal with windshield glass, you're getting pretty marginal. But with an ankle holster, I got to get my pants up out of the way. But now I can draw with either hand. I can draw with the right hand that I normally do. If for some reason I've still got a hand on the wheel, I can get it out with my left hand and either use it left-handed or switch it to the right hand. But drawing from the ankle is very good. At the worst case scenario, you might have to lift your foot up just a little bit to get a good purchase on the weapon. But a small pistol can be carried on the ankle, and it's very readily accessible in a carjacking situation. I'd like to take a little time to do a little business. First of all, shameless plug for my book, my second book, Building a Better Gunfighter. I have a number of these in paper copy. They are still available on either eBay or on my website at dickfairburn.com. The first book, Police Rifles, is no longer in print, but both of these will soon be out in an ebook format, so you can pick them up that way. I would also like to ask you to please subscribe, ring the little notification bell, and if you like what I'm doing here, give me a thumbs up. That's what helps grow this channel. That's what helps develop more content for you that are interested in what I want to do. So I appreciate it if you could buy the book, if you can subscribe, ring the bell, and give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Okay, I've told you some about how carjackings occur outside, when you're outside your vehicle going to or from, or when you're driving. Driving is typically the most dangerous. One other aspect has to be addressed if you're going to be using a gun from inside of a car, and that's what happens to the glass that we're dealing with if we have to discharge a weapon in there. That's actually way too much to discuss on this video. I'm in the process of saving up car windshields, and I'm going to be doing a training thing for police in a few weeks where they will shoot out and shoot in through the windshield of a car and see how the bullets are deflected, and really about how the bullets are almost shredded by that tough windshield. They lose a lot of bullet metal when they go through the windshield, and so they don't create as good a wound typically once they get into the intended target. But here's what you need to know. Side windows in the US, any vehicle sold here, are a special form of tempered glass. When something penetrates that glass or shatters it, struck by a hammer, struck by one of the pick drivers that they use specifically to get out of your vehicle, it crumbles. It will shatter the entire glass. It will crumble into little cubic particles mostly. They still have sharp edges. They're still dangerous because it's broken glass, but it's much safer than dealing with a windshield or ordinary glass, which could break into, you know, triangular shards with razor sharp edges. So if you have to shoot through the side window, any pistol bullet's going to go through there. It's going to shatter that window. It may or may not take it all out at the first one. So even just any touch or a second round will usually collapse the rest of it out. This is not a major problem. By the same token, bullets coming in are not as damaged by the side window as they would be for the windshield, so they're more of a threat to you. Going out through the windshield, a windshield glass is two thin layers of tempered glass sandwiched around a very tough piece of resilient plastic, polymer. What it does is prevent this from shattering completely out whenever it's broken or pierced. So if you put a bullet through this, the bullet's going to go through. It's going to make a small hole with a shattered area around it, and you'll see spider webs as it cracks out. But it's going to remain essentially intact. So to get good performance shooting out through a windshield in a carjacking situation, you'd better figure on kind of a flurry of shots. 2 or 3 shots to kind of get you a good opening there, and then more shots fire for effect until you put down the threat that's attacking you. I talked earlier about the deadly force decision. Could I just get out of the car, leave the fob in there, and let them have the damn thing? Okay, and if you think that's a viable option for you, that you can get away without being hurt, let them have the vehicle. We can replace that. But when we go to deadly force, we can lose big. So that's a decision you have to make. I will say this. If they come up and your window's up, your door's locked, they're not able to get in, but you feel that they're breaking the window out with something. They have a tool or some kind of impact weapon that they can break that window out. If the window comes out, if it is shattered in the process of a carjacking, I think you are perfectly justified in stating that you thought your life was in danger and that you were required to use deadly force to protect yourself. So if they get to the point of taking that window out, I'm going to have my gun out already, and at that point, I'm probably going to make that deadly force decision. It's a decision only you can make. Okay? You can ask an attorney. They're not going to give you a hard answer. You can ask a prosecutor. They're going to wait until they see the facts of the circumstances of the event. So we can't tell you ahead of time how to make that decision. But I can tell you the time to think through it and pre-make that decision is now. Not when there's some ugly sucker standing here with a pistol saying, get out of your car. Dangerous situation, you can survive them by either getting out, driving out or shooting out. Good luck to you. Stay safe out there.
Okay, we got them both here now. You ready? Bud got one. Ginger got one. Oh, she missed it. She usually gets them, doesn't she, Bud? Okay, girl, last one. You ready? You ready? Yeah! That's all there is till next time.